We are back at it with another Monday. We are talking all things KC with Mayor Quinton Lucas. Now, Kansas City's 1% earnings tax brings in more than $370 million a year and helps fund sanitation, fire, and other essential city services. Now, voters in KC, we will decide in April whether to renew it for another 5 years. And some people still don't fully understand what's at stake, Mayor Lucas. If this tax doesn't pass, what real cuts would Kansas City is likely see in their day-to-day services? And for people who are skeptical about paying it, why do you believe that renewing the e-tax is critical for everyone who lives and works in Kansas City?
The first reality is you are likely to see tax increases in other areas, property tax increases, sales taxes, the sort of things I've heard people have issues with if this is not renewed. I understand that some people don't like taxes. This is one we've been paying since the 1960s, and it does go to core basic services, pays for our firefighters, pays for our fire trucks, pays for our sanitation workers, make sure the city keeps going. And so it is a large amount of funds. This was pushed by a right-wing group. It continues to be pushed. Their goal is to make sure that nobody who's in the billionaire and multimillionaire class has to pay taxes, and then all the rest of us are paying increased taxes on our property, increased taxes on everything we're getting at the store, increased taxes that hit us the worst. So right now, what we're seeing is a system that works for Kansas City, make sure that we can pay for the things that we need, our park system as well. I mean, there is a lot within it that this general fund helps support. Getting rid of it would set us back for years. It would harm our workers. And more than anything, I think it'd be detrimental long term because you'd see increased taxes.
Mayor Lucas, what would a day-to-day look like if we didn't have many of these services? What for a regular Kansas City, and what would that day look like?
So you know what? First of all, let me think about our more than probably about 6,000 workers. It would mean the pay increases that we continue to see. Our union members at Local 500, those are the people who work in your parks, work at the pools, work in public works. Those types of people would not see increases of the type they're seeking right now. So that's step one. For the normal Kansas City, and you would see less enforcement, right? You'd see less code enforcement. You'd see less city trash pickup. You would see fewer bulky item pickups. You would just see us have to cut a whole lot of money real fast. When I first became mayor, I understood what those cuts were like. We went through COVID-19 together. I think people saw the trash build up. They saw us deal with a lot of other issues in the city. That's the sort of problem that happens if you just take a hatchet to government.
Mayor Lucas, the FIFA World Cup is less than 100 days away, and I know we've been chatting a lot about how this will affect Kansas City, but little on how much a culture shock KC will be for the tourists. Now, even some of our overseas cousins aren't even familiar with tipping culture. My question to you is, how will Kansas City enforce local laws such as cannabis and some other things?
So, I think a few things that we will probably try to do, and here's my jam, right? I've traveled, probably y'all have traveled. You shouldn't act a fool. Now, I know there are some people who go somewhere and they think, nobody knows me, anything like that.
Right.
I mean, so they're going to be knuckleheads along the way. I think for the rest of us, we will make sure that we share a few basics, right? Marijuana is legal here. I think everybody who may have a marijuana habit or not that I'm talking from personal experience, but you don't just go find the first person on the streets and all of that and get your supply. And if you do, there's a little bit of a risk. So I'm going too far. All I'm going to say is, I think we're going to push our tourists to be in good legal spots, make sure they find and following the rules. And let me tell you something, if you got a few $1,000s to get all the way over here, to go through American immigration, get your visa, all of that, you got some sense. So the issue is you need to make sure you follow it.
Mayor Lucas, don't let us catch you over there on 22nd and Topping. We know what's going on here. We are back with our 55th elected mayor of Kansas City, Missouri, talking all things KC, Mayor Quinton Lucas. Now, nearly $500,000 in federal funding is going to the Mattie Rhodes Center to bring behavioral interventionists into Northeast Middle and Northeast High as part of the Stop School Violence program. This is going to help 3,000 students, and it's a great start. But families across Kansas City are dealing with safety concerns in schools, Mayor Lucas. If this program proves successful, is there a realistic pathway to expand it citywide so that every school has access to this kind of behavioral and mental health support?
So the answer to that question is yes. This is a wonderful wonderful program at Northeast Middle School. And let me just tell y'all as an aside, sometimes I don't like social media, right?
Mm.
Because I put up a brick, shot from 6 feet. Everybody, engages with it, clicks on it, all of that.
Mhm.
You put up something like this that is probably one of the most impactful things that we can do. And everybody like, all right, cool.
Mhm.
But Northeast Middle School, and you probably remember this, they had a homicide inside the school,
Yeah, like 2 years
maybe
ago.
about, yeah, just a few years ago. And so this was something that was intentional for us, work with Mattie Rhodes Center, working with our federal partners to make sure that we're working on violence prevention. What you can't just do is show up after and be like the kids are bad or deal with whatever issues. We need to make sure we're invested in young people like the humans they are. This invests in social workers. This invests in counselors. This invests in the opportunities for our children to be children and in some situations know that somebody cares and loves them. So yeah, $500,000. If I told you how much we spend on some other stuff, yes, we can find $500,000. And we need to make sure it gets to places like Southeast. It needs to get to the Hickman Mill School. It needs to get up in the Northland where we're seeing more issues. My brothers and sisters in Kansas need it. The way that we care and invest in kids is by showing up and being consistent. This is one program that's allowing us to do that. I was proud to be there at Northeast Middle the other day. I think this will be a game changer and a difference maker. And by the way, the cities that are seeing homicide progress, like Baltimore, Maryland, my good friend Mayor Brandon Scott over there, homicides down to historic lows in the city where The Wire is based, is because they're invested in young people. They're invested in violence prevention and counseling and stopping this cycle. We need to do more of that in Kansas City. We're going to see more of the same.
Always a pleasure to talk to you, Mayor Lucas. We appreciate you for tapping in on Hustle and Shine in the Morning. We'll talk to you next Monday. Have a good one and continue to be a blessing.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Stay safe.